the center basically works with all of this data, and we de-identify everything, of course. You know, we don't really do individual level reports unless we have a specific request from a person, and even then that has to go through multiple layers of security checks before we give out any data. But as you're getting ready to see this is how we use all of the data that we receive. So the Students Right to Know platform is a one-stop shop where you can kind of show students how they can look up careers and salaries and majors across the state at our public universities. If you go to kystudentRightToKnow.ky.gov, or if you scan the tag on the screen, you will get a look at what the platform looks like, which I'm about to walk through. But before, I just wanted to give a little background on why it was created. Our group worked with the Council on Post-Secondary Education starting in 2020 after House Bill 419 was approved and signed by the governor. The legislation requires an annual compilation of state data that displays things like the cost of college at our public universities, what in-demand jobs are linked to what majors, the financial aid availability, and other information such as graduation rates, and also information about alternative pathways, such as those that you can receive through apprenticeships or career and technical education programs. So what we did were to collect data from the universities that you see here on the screen. This is all of the state's public universities, including our community and technical college system. What we do not include are the private universities such as Center College and Bellarmine University, because we do rely on public university data and we don't always have private university data available. So if you go to the website, you will see what looks like this. The left-hand side here is the top of the screen, and you can filter down majors. So you can look at either the 60 most popular majors in Kentucky, or you can select a specific major that may not be on that most popular list. For this example, we chose social work. And you can see that there are 767 projected annual openings for social work. And you can also see, sorry about that again, you can also see the career salary levels for social workers throughout the state. And any major that you see on this list, you'll see different breakdowns of what those salaries look like and those projected annual openings. You'll also see where you can major in those, where you can attend to receive those majors. So social work is a very popular program, which you can receive at, it looks like, all of our public institutions in the state. This section right here talks a little bit about what the college going cost is for social work, and also shows a little bit of information about load rates and graduation rates. This shows how many students who enroll in social work programs receive loans and what those average loan amounts are throughout the course of their education. Finally, we do show a little bit of information about career and education outcomes, but keep in mind that this isn't like a social work CTE program. This is all combined CTE programs and what those outcomes look like for them. And this is here as, if you'll remember back a few slides, the requirements that we were trying to meet for this legislation. But just so if you do have a student who is more interested in CTE programs, we have the CTE feedback report on our website that you can browse and learn a little bit more about programs that are offered for career and technical education students around the state. Next, this is just a short list of questions that as you're working with students and you want to kind of familiarize them with this platform, you can ask them and have them kind of, write out a little report about the careers that they're looking at. The occupational outlook is another tool it's similar, but it has less higher education information. It's more geared towards finding out wages and outcomes for different occupations around the state. We can also break it up by local workforce area. So the state has 10 local workforce areas. So you can see the different jobs that are in demand in each of those 10 areas throughout the state. And that brings me to the end of the presentation on the Students' Right to Know and to the beginning of the Family Resource Simulator. But because that was a lot of information, I will pause right here and ask if anybody has any questions about that part of the presentation.
We haven't had anything in the chat so far.
Okay, good. All right, well then I will just roll on. The Family Resource Simulator was created last year. It was actually an update to a platform that we created, I believe, in 2021, that illustrates the impact of public assistance on the budget of hypothetical families in the state. And it helps identify where benefit cliffs occur as a family's income increases. We created this in partnership with the National Center for Children in Poverty, and it is a great tool to help folks who are working hand in hand with families to understand where they might lose benefits like Medicaid or the K-CHIP program or SNAP and TANF, if they get a raise, if they take a new job, and that sort of thing. So the simulator calculates results for families with 1 to 5 children. So when somebody wants to calculate a scenario, they will go in and they will start entering this information. We always like to tell people that the system does not store information and we do not keep any personal information. So although you will be entering things like what county your family lives in and the number of children and their ages, you're not entering any personal identifiers such as birth dates or social security numbers. And this is really intended to be a scenario, a result scenario. And it's best, if you do have somebody who really wants to figure out if they are eligible for or will still be eligible for a public benefit after their income increases, that they do check with that benefit provider and don't necessarily rely on this as the end all be all answer to that question. But next, this screen shows you what the home screen of the simulator looks like. If you go to kystats.ky.gov/FRS, you will simply enter the county that you live in because that shows the cost of living for this particular scenario. So after you click that, you will see a screen where you can enter that family level information. So ages of parents and children and number of children in the household. We ask this question because this is going to help calculate answers on things like when will K-CHIP drop off and when will things like Medicare roll into the calculation. So the next screen is just entering information on if the mother breastfeeds. That helps calculate food costs in the household. You also put in if anyone in the household has a disability or if any of the children receive child support from a non-custodial parent. Starting wages are added in, as well as whether it's full-time or part-time. And this obviously is where you're going to get lots of information on the family's income and expenses. So after you enter these screens and a screen about different public benefits that the family might be participating in, and childcare information and insurance information, you will eventually get a calculation that shows at what points the benefit cliffs occur. So this is sort of what that final screen will look like. The numbers on the bottom are the level of income, and the numbers on the left-hand side are the net resources that a family has. So as their trajectory increases, so the more money they make, the less public benefits they will qualify for. So as you'll see here, this family will hit self-sufficiency, which we define as not relying upon any public benefits, at around, I believe this is about $75,000. And this is a family of, I'm going to go back one slide, and 2 children, 2-parent household. And based on the cost of living in their area, they will see their self-sufficiency at around $76,000 per year. You can also download information in the tab called Export Results. This will kind of show where all of those different points are throughout the family's trajectory, and is just a different way to kind of look at that data. So I actually misspoke. It's actually $57,000 per year that the family could become self-sufficient. The tool is very, we sort of created it as a way to find out where those benefit cliffs occur, but we also are constantly going back in and making sure that everything is correct. For example, the level of SNAP benefits changed in the past 4 or 5 months, so we actually updated the system to calculate for that change as well. So there's constantly going to be little tweaks here and there as different benefit levels change, both by the federal government and by the state government. But that kind of sums up both the Students' Right to Know and the Family Resource Simulator. And if anybody has any questions, I would be glad to talk through them.
Thanks, Jessica. So the one question that I have seen so far is about getting copies of the PowerPoint slide, and I made the assumption that we could have that. So I
Yes,
just wanted to confirm that. So we will get the PowerPoint information, and we'll also upload the recording so folks can hear the information from the presentation, and we will get that on the Training Hub site. It will probably take a few days to get the information up there. We have to do some editing on the videos and get everything uploaded and those kinds of things. But I did put the link to the Training Hub site in the chat and would encourage you to go and check that out. There's lots of information there.
Mhm. And if anybody kind of gets in there and messes with either of these tools and has questions, my email address is on the screen and will be in the PowerPoint that we send. So please feel free to reach out to me, or if you would like for me to do this presentation kind of at the school level or at your district level, I'm happy to talk to you about that as well.
Okay. Any questions? I am not seeing any questions come into the chat yet. We'll give it a little bit more time. I know sometimes I always think of questions like 5 minutes after I hang up.
Me
Anybody
too. I'm delayed response girl. So
So Jessica's given us her email address there. Also, you can reach out to Beth and I, and we can make sure we can get some information to you if you think of any other um, questions about it. Yeah, Beth says the best part about all this is it's free.
mhm. And I would encourage everyone just to kind of look around on our website. We release probably close to 20 dashboard reports per year, and we're getting ready to kind of expand that into having a blog on our website where we can talk a little bit more in a narrative format about some of the research that our team does. We have a really great team located in Frankfurt, lots of data scientists, one of which who joined me thankfully on this call in case I got a technical question I couldn't answer. So thanks, David, for joining us. But yeah, we are really happy to help out and look forward to partnering with the family resource coordinators in any way that we can.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. We appreciate your all's time today. I do want to give a plug for the future, for the next two Wednesday webinar topics that we have coming up. One is on Infinite Campus, right, Beth? And the other is on volunteer management. Is that right?
Yeah, the first next one coming up though is the management of volunteers, and that is through another nicely packaged program that we might be able to utilize, might be more sufficient for your center. And that one is February, excuse me, February 8th. And then the one after that will be March 1st, and that one is on the Infinite Campus data. So we will be sending out, before the Infinite Campus data, we will be sending out a short survey to get a little bit of information of what you're looking for exactly before we do that one. But look, I look forward to doing those. I think it'll be great information for you guys.
So we have a couple of things we want to share now in the chat. The first one is the approval code for the professional development. So I've put that in there for you guys. And then Beth, I did not save the link to the exit survey. do, do you have that handy? Oh man, she is so on the spot. So we do have an exit survey for you guys that attended today. We appreciate your time, but we would like to learn what was useful about this, give us some feedback on it, and also your recommendations or things you'd like to see in the future Wednesday webinars. You know, we want to make sure that this time is useful for you guys as coordinators. So please feel free to share with us as you will. So that link is in the chat. And we'll have one more opportunity for questions before we wrap up for today. A little bit early, but I'm sure everybody can use some extra time today.
I just saw the comment that said that someone spent 2 hours on the phone with Medicaid looking for this information. So
Oh,
very happy to hear that you find this helpful, and please let me
yeah.
know if any questions arise.
Yeah, that is good. And then also needs assessment information. You could probably find a lot of needs assessment data on the website as well.
Mhm.
All right, so I'm getting some thank yous. Appreciate that. Anything else, you guys? Did I miss anything, Beth?
I think you're good.
All right, thanks again, Jessica. We appreciate your time today, and you
Yeah.
guys have a wonderful rest of your afternoon.
All right. Bye-bye.